مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا.
What we are supposed to do, we are supposed to advise them, and we are supposed to distance ourselves from them so that there should be no confrontation, and Muslims should try to stay as one unit. Verse number 82 onwards.
فقاتل في سبيل الله لا تكلف إلا نفسك وحرض المؤمنين عسى الله أن يكف بأس الذين كفروا والله أشد بأسا وأشد تنكيلا.
So, fight in the way of Allah. You are not responsible but for yourself, and persuade the believers to fight in Allah's way. It is likely that Allah will prevent the mischief of those who disbelieve. Allah is the strongest in power and the mightiest in punishing. Who
من يشفع شفاعة حسنة يكن له نصيب منها ومن يشفع شفاعة سيئة يكن له كفل منها وكان الله على كل شيء مقيتا.
Whoever makes a good recommendation, there shall be for him a share from it in the hereafter, and whoever makes a bad recommendation, there shall be for him a share from it. Allah is powerful over everything.
وَإِذَا حُيِّيتُم بِتَحِيَّةٍ فَحَيُّوا بِأَحْسَنَ مِنْهَا أَوْ رُدُّوهَا إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ حَسِيبًا.
When you are greeted with a salutation, greet with one better than it, or return the same. Surely, Allah is the one who takes account of everything.
Allah.
So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding us. These are, again, situation when Muslims are going through the battle of Uhud and the discrepancy happen. Obedience to Allah and His Messenger is the true obedience to Allah, and Messenger is what to be obeyed. And then there is also, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ. Do you not ponder and reflect upon Quran? وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدَ فِيهِ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. And Allah is challenging. If it was from the multiple gods, if there were multiple gods, there would have been a dispute. And there is no dispute in the Quran. وَإِذَا جَاءَهُمْ أَمْرٌ مِنَ الْأَمْنِ وَأَوِ الْخَوْفِ أَذَاعُوا بِهِ وَلَوْ رَدُّهُ إِلَى رَسُولِ اللَّهِ وَإِلَى أَوْلِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْهُمْ لِيَعْلَمَهُ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَنبِطُونَهُ مِنْهُمْ. So that whenever a new concerning peace or fear comes to them, they go about spreading it. So this is something also important to understand. Had they referred it to the messenger, and they would have been having authority among them, so that the truth of the matter should have come to the knowledge of those people. This is what the hypocrites would do. Anything which they want, they would interpret. We are supposed to restrain from interpreting and spreading the words around. But what Allah grace upon and mercy would have followed them, Satan save a few. So these are the thing, again, advice of Muslims to be done. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, so fight in the way of Allah. The jihad has been ordered before they were used to ask that, oh, Allah give us permission to fight. Once the permission came in, some of them kind of backed off or feared. And it's a command. You are not responsible but for yourself. فَقَاتِلْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ لَا تُكَلِّفُ إِلَّا نَفْسَكَ وَحَرِّضِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Prophet that you do not burden your soul about that, what they are doing, and their act they will be accountable for. وَحَرِّضِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And encourage and pursue the believers for doing the jihad fi sabilillah. عَسَى اللَّهِ أَن يَكُفَّ بَأْسَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. Allah is enough to prevent the mischief from those who are disbelievers. Allah is going to protect us from them as long as we are in the faith. Wallahu ashaddu ba'asa wa ashaddu tankila. And Allah is the strongest, the power, and the mightiest in punishing. So we should also understand that, okay, even though we are doing everything right, why we are not winning, it is a test of the believer. That's where we need to stay firm in the faith. whenever Muslim had a little bit disadvantaged situation or lost in anything, the hypocrites used to quickly to say, oh, this is what, because you are not in the true faith. And whenever a good thing comes, they start coming and start celebrating, look, we are the winner. So winning and losing is not the thing. The thing is, fact is, we should stay in faith. As we know, all the prophets from Adam alayhi salam to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, only few prophets succeeded in making their nation to believe. Like Nuh alayhi salam, 950 years, what has been reported, he lived for that many long years, and he only could make 80 people to believe in him. And his boat were only 80 human. The rest were the animals and others, creatures. Whatever the truth. But the fact is, Jesus, peace be upon him, showed them so many miracles. They still could not find more believers than just a handful of disciples. So all these things happen, it does not succeed. Actually, Prophet ﷺ said people will not enter to the paradise because of their actions. Indeed, they will enter the paradise because of their beliefs and their conviction. So intention. So if a person believes I'm a Muslim and try his best, there's no judgment, try their best. Otherwise, all the prophets fail, right? Their job was to convert people and nobody converted. So it means they fail. No, their efforts. We should make pure intention and make our best effort to spread the message of Allah to others. And whether somebody takes it or not, that's up to them. Because la ikraha fi din, there's no compulsion in faith. This is something to be understood for us, and we should try to spread the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to others. So then, so fight in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you are not responsible except for yourself. And persuade the believers. So those who believe, we need to communicate the message and teach them, our children, our adults, our all age people, men, women, all those who are think. Because فَذَكِّرْ إِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. That's another verse in the Quran that keep reminding, the reminders benefit the believers. So even though we all have heard about Islam, we basically understand Islam, we basically know what to do. But when we do this thing, it is the message directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Quran is the book, is the speech of God given to us, that this is what I am your God, worship me and obey these commands. And the Prophet is a living, breathing example of doing the obedience. So it is like that. Allah will prevent the mischief of those who disbelieve or commit. And also, whoever make a good recommendation, there shall be for him as a share from it good thereafter. And whoever make a bad recommendation, there shall be for him for it. So this is what is being said, that when the Habil and Qabil, when they did a sin, the Qabil killed the Habil, and then anytime a person commit a murder, a share of sin goes to his account. So if anybody who started good deeds, as long as that good deeds continue and other people follow that person's, this is why we are encouraged to do good, so that the reward of that goodness will come to us, particularly our children, our family, our descendants. And whenever they do any good thing, all the reward goes to them, and equal amount of reward come to us. And if you are greeted, this is another thing. When somebody give you salam, so what is the greeting of Islam? فَإِذَا حُيِّيتُمْ بِتَحِيَّةٍ فَحَيُّوا بِأَحْسَنْ مِنْهَا أَوْ رُدُّهَا إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ حَسِيبًا. This is what is being taught to us by Prophet ﷺ. If somebody say Assalamu alaikum, we should say Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. If somebody say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, we should respond to Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If somebody says Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, we should reply Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh wa maghfiratuh. If somebody said maghfiratuh, then you say ridwanuhu wa jannah. We should return a greeting with a better greeting. And according to Islamic scholarship, the interpretation, if you say good morning, if somebody may have a horrible day in the morning, on the night, good night, and there's no such thing as everybody has a good day or good night. So that emotion are there. So a salam is basically a blessing, is a supplication, is a dua, is a message of peace. So what it means, Assalamu alaikum, the peace and blessing be upon you. Wa rahmatullah, the mercy of Allah. Wa barakatuh, an increment. Wa maghfiratuh, and the forgiveness. Wa ridwanu, the agreement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa jannatu, and the paradise to be a destination. So when we greet somebody with these kind words, which can be applied in any situation, a person is sad or had a bad day or good day or good night or bad night, that's this is much more above, what a person wants when they are happy or when they are sad. They want a blessing, and Islam is the Islamic way. And in the Jewish and the Christian tradition, Judeo-Christian tradition, shalom was a Aramaic word which was the same meaning. And they say shalom, we say salam. The Arabic it is salam, and Jewish language it is shalom. So this is what we have been taught, that when somebody greets you a word, return the greeting with the better words. And we should also look at the believer and smile and shake hand. When we shake hand with the believer, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives our sin. So we should look at our parents with a smile and greet them. Allah will forgive our sin and will give us a reward equal to a nafil hajj. Accept it without even doing. Just you need to smile like showing your teeth. Less muscles are needed for the smile than the frowning. So this is very simple. You can earn reward. And a companion asked, Ya Rasulullah, if a person smiled more than once, he said, Allah has no limit to the treasure. So you can look at your parents and smile all along. Even though you are not happy with what they are saying, you should smile and greet them, and that will give them a blessing, and you will get a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from that. So listen to the verse number 87.
الله لا إله إلا هو ليجمعنكم إلى يوم القيامة لا ريب فيه ومن أصدق من الله حديثا فما لكم في المنافقين فئتين والله أركسهم بما كسبوا أتريدون أن تهدوا من أضل الله ومن يضلل الله فلن تجد له سبيلا.
So, what is the matter with you that you have become two groups about the hypocrites, while Allah has reverted them because of what they did? Do you want to guide the one whom Allah has let go astray? The one whom Allah lets go astray, you shall never find a way for him.
وَدُّوا لَوْ تَكْفُرُونَ كَمَا كَفَرُوا فَتَكُونُونَ سَوَاءً فَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا مِنْهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءَ حَتَّى يُهَاجِرُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَخُذُوهُمْ وَاقْتُلُوهُمْ حَيْثُ وَجَدتُّمُوهُمْ وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا مِنْهُمْ وَلِيًّا وَلَا نَصِيرًا.
They wish that you should disbelieve, as they have disbelieved, and thus you become all alike. So, do not take friends from among them unless they migrate in the way of Allah. Then, if they turn away, seize them, and kill them wherever you find them, and do not take from among them a friend or helper.
إِلَّا الَّذِينَ يَصِلُونَ إِلَى قَوْمٍ بَيْنَكُمْ وَبَيْنَهُمْ مِيثَاقٌ أَوْ جَاءُوكُمْ حَصِرَتْ صُدُورُهُمْ أَن يُقَاتِلُوكُمْ أَوْ يُقَاتِلُوا قَوْمَهُمْ وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَسَلَّطَهُمْ عَلَيْكُمْ فَلَقَاتَلُوكُمْ فَإِنِ اعْتَزَلُوكُمْ فَلَمْ يُقَاتِلُوكُمْ وَأَلْقَوْا إِلَيْكُمُ السَّلَمَ فَمَا جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ عَلَيْهِمْ سَبِيلًا.
Except those who join a group between whom and you there is a treaty, or who come to you with their hearts feeling discomfort in fighting either against you or against their own people. If Allah had so willed, He would have given them power over you, then they would have fought you. So, if they stay away from you, and do not fight you and offer you peace, then Allah has not given you any authority against them.
ستجدون آخرين يريدون أن يأمنوكم ويأمنوا قومهم كلما ردوا إلى الفتنة أركسوا فيها فإن لم يعتزلوكم ويلقوا إليكم السلم ويكفوا أيديهم فخذوهم واقتلوهم حيث ثقفتموهم وأولئكم جعلنا لكم عليهم سلطانا مبينا.
You will find others who want to be secure from you, and secure from their own people. But, whenever they are called back to the mischief, they are plunged into it. So, if they do not stay away from you, and do not offer peace to you, and do not restrain their hands, then seize them, and kill them wherever you find them, and we have given you an open authority against them.
So these verses are a little technical to understand. It is about the hypocrites and those people when they were commanded to migrate, when Prophet immigrated to Medina. Some of the people, what happened was they came and fight against Muslim with their Meccans, Quraysh army, and they got killed. And when they got killed in the battle, and the angels asked them, why you were doing this? You were supposed to be part of the Muslim group. And they said, we were difficult time, we could not sustain ourselves, we had to live there, we have an excuse of being property or home or whatnot. So this is kind of a to understand that whenever there's a situation a person has a difficult time practicing his or her faith, they should migrate to the land where they can be practicing freely, or that is the Islamic world. Today, world is global, and it's a global village. A lot of people living in different parts of the world, and there are a lot of accomplished people in the world in different places. As we know, the Muslim are minority in many land and area. It was basically to speak at that time, it was in Mecca and Medina. Many scholars agree on that. But some of the people like these group of the terrorists, which are, we know, Daesh and all that, they think if you did not help them or did not work with them, they can seize you, they can kill you, and they can take you Muslims as an enemy. Like today's situation is like in India and Pakistan. There are more Muslims in India than in Pakistan, and the population-wise, and they are in different ways. So this is some situation technical today we did talk about. So we have to be very mindful and careful about interpreting these verses and applying on people, because world has changed in the global village. Many Muslims who are part of the non-Muslim armed forces, we are not supposed to be, but that in those days, because of their presence there, they were a way of spreading Islam, and we have to be very mindful about it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows whatever his heart believes, and we should try to respect each other as a Muslim. In those days, in the time of Prophet, these people were told if there's a peace treaty among a Muslim and a non-Muslim nation, one thing to be understood, a peace treaty does not mean we believe and we agree with their opinion. Peace treaty means we sign an agreement that we will not kill each other, and whatever time the term of the treaty is. So in other words, if Muslims and Prophet signed treaty with the Quraysh in Hudaybiyah, in the 7th year of migration to Medina, it does not mean Prophet agreed with the Kafir. He just said we will not kill each other, we will just be in peace. So peace does not mean we believe in non-believers, we just do not fight with each other. And if Muslims live in their area or the Muslims living in there, as long as they are in peace, we should respect that. And as we know that there are many countries, Muslims are living as a minority. In Russia, there are about 1/4 the population of is Muslim. It's a big population. In India, as I said, it's a 25% population is Muslim. And in China, the whole Xinjiang province is a Muslim. So there are Muslims, and then Palestine, there's a majority of Muslims, but they've been occupied by Israelis. So we cannot make judgment. These verses were revealed on that time, so we need to understand. We cannot say that all the Indian Muslims and Palestinian and Russian Muslims are wrong, or the Chinese are wrong. We have to be very careful in interpretation of these verses. And because of those people, Islam is still present and alive in those lands, and there are people who are embracing Islam. So they are doing a dawah. It was only for the time of that situation. And if it comes to arise, the active verse is there. Verse number 92.
وما كان لمؤمن أن يقتل مؤمنا إلا خطأ ومن قتل مؤمنا خطأ فتحرير رقبة مؤمنة ودية مسلمة إلى أهله إلا أن يصدقوا فإن كان من قوم عدو لكم وهو مؤمن فتحرير رقبة مؤمنة وإن كان من قوم بينكم وبينهم ميثاق فدية مسلمة إلى أهله وتحرير رقبة مؤمنة فمن لم يجد فصيام شهرين متتابعين توبة من الله وكان الله عليما حكيما.
It is not for a believer, Muslim, to kill any believer, except by mistake. Whoever kills a believer by mistake, then, a believing slave has to be freed, and the blood money must be paid to his family, unless they forego it. If he, the victim, belongs to a people hostile to you and is a believer, then, a believing slave has to be freed. If he, the victim, belongs to a people between whom and you there is treaty, then, blood money is to be paid to his family, and a believing slave to be freed. Whoever does not find one has to fast for 2 consecutive months. This is repentance prescribed from Allah's side. Allah is all-knowing, all-wise.
So verse number 92 has a little bit explanation that a Muslim cannot kill another Muslim. If he did it intentionally, then that person is never going to be forgiven. That means that person is going to be in hell, eternal. Whoever mistakenly killed somebody, threw a stone or some arrow and got hit by other person and he died, then there are option is that they have to, either the family can have a blood money, which is equal to 100 camel, which is the value which has been calculated of every time, whenever what time we are in. 100 camels to be, a cost of 100 camels is to be paid to the family, and or the person has to fast for 2 months consecutively. If he skips any fast, they have to start again in 60 days and free a Muslim slave. And then if there's a person of a nation which a Muslim and non-Muslim have a treaty among them, so then a non-Muslim treaty people should be given a blood money for the victim, and a Muslim have to free a slave in their possession, or the value equal to a slave. To the nowadays there are no slaves, so this is how to be given a human life value, which is 100 camels. So that has to be apparently which should have been given, or at the time wherever we are, whatever country we are in, we should discuss with the scholar of that land to ask for the interpretation of this. With this, I will stop here. Verse number 90. Let's listen to 93 and 94. We will stop.
ومن يقتل مؤمنا متعمدا فجزاؤه جهنم خالدا فيها وغضب الله عليه ولعنه وأعد له عذابا عظيما.
Whoever kills a believer deliberately, his reward is Jahannam, hell, where he shall remain forever, and Allah shall be angry with him and shall cast curse upon him, and he has prepared for him a mighty punishment.
So this is what is the very important thing. If a person premeditated murdered a Muslim, then that person is going to be in eternal hell, and there is punishment for that person is to be beheaded if this is proven, if they accept the crime. So there's a lot of details about it, but basically we cannot plan and meditate to kill another Muslim. So today we'll stop here, and inshallah next Sunday we will begin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.